Before you decide to forgive or not forgive President Muhammadu Buhari, you need to watch this video first, right? You need to watch this video. Maybe after this video, you can make an informed decision of either forgiving him or not forgiving him.
Whoever thought that there has been some form of injustice on him, we are all humans. There is no doubt I hurt some people, and I wish they would pardon me. And those that think that I've hurt them so much, please pardon me. I thank you very much.
You know, Nigerians, our major problem in Nigeria is that we don't read. And whether it is relevant to our future, our current, or even our past, we don't read. And that's why there is so much manipulation in the system, because Nigerians don't read. Like a wise man did say, if you don't learn from history, you will definitely repeat history. It's not the first time that President Buhari is playing aloof, playing the role of being unaware of the current situation. But then in getting to certain things, he's vibrant, he speaks quite well of certain situations, but guess they actually do nothing. This is the most nepotistic, the most ethnic driven, tribal driven, and most, lack of better words, most unrealistic and redundant, dormant government or administration ever in the history of this country for a long while. Even some governments, like the Alhaji Shehu Shagari's government, that were said to have becatized a lot of things, actually had a couple of gains, unlike this government that has fought the people by all standards, and even ensured that there's an installation of a non-people oriented succession. Again, them. Just before I start this journey, take a look back. Let's take a peep into General Muhammadu Buhari's inaugural speech upon assuming office as head of state of this country far back in 1983, of course, after the coup, right? Watch this video, and then a couple of seconds, they come back and we'll talk some more.
The Nigerian people were therefore limbered with a government whose suspect massive victory at the polls lulled it into a state of complacency. The planless, downright incompetence and irresponsibility which characterized the previous 4 years continued. Gentlemen of the press, the Nigerian armed forces could not stand idly by while this country was drifting towards a dangerous state of political and economic collapse through the continued ineptitude and insensitiveness of a political leadership who were apparently unwilling to change. It had a duty to intervene to clean up the economic mess and set this country once again on the path of sanity.
That's it, right? Preceding to that particular coup, you should remember that Alhaji Shehu Shagari had re-won his elections a couple of months before to his second term in office as president and commander-in-chief of this country. That's the Second Republic, actually. And then again and again, a coup happened between the top military hierarchy of the country, and that now led to Muhammadu Buhari's installation, assuming office as head of state. Brigadier Bako, I think one of the military officers that were sent to arrest Shehu Shagari in the villa, was killed in a fierce battle after they thought that they have an arrangement with the commanding officers. I'm discussing so much. Hold on, but how that he was killed. Even if Buhari had gone ahead to declare that he wasn't part of the arrangement for that coup, he went on to giving a minute silence to Brigadier Bako. You see the problem? The problem is that this guy, the same thing that happened, Buhari has retired from politics after losing the 2011 elections. Tinubu again, the poster boy of setting ordinance in this country, went on to say he used his mouth to say he went to lure him to come back. So over the years, some people say Buhari doesn't have a right to say he wasn't part of that arrangement for the coup. But in case we want to take Buhari's words for it, it means that he probably did not merit to become a, but he was just then GOC of the 3rd Armored Division in Jos, and then all that put together. Again, same situation. People made propaganda. They wanted to take power. They wanted to make a mathematical arrangement. So they brought Buhari first without plans for this country and said, come. All the promises that he made of $1 to 1 naira security at its peak, educational, balancing, economic revival and vibration, and several others prosperity for all. Sibajo was entering buses everywhere in this country to campaign as if Messiah was coming. Everything went to naught. As I talk to you, nothing was achieved. Nothing was achieved. Again, you are playing the aloof state. I do not know anything. You are saying we should forgive you. You rather even go to Niger. We will forgive you, sir. Why will I say we should forgive Buhari? Because again, exactly what happened in 1983 to 1985. But the problem now is that you have given us a worse president, the worst of them all. Worse! Exactly. Report says that the 1983 coup was sponsored by Moshood Abiola. With due respect to him, I don't talk ill of people that have died. Right? It was sponsored. He denied and several denial happened here and there. But today, Tinubu is taking over government because of mathematical arrangement. If we remember that Tinubu will be president of this country, we will apologize. We will not just forgive, but we will apologize to him because we are in a mess. Oh God, we never know where we are. We are in a mess of a country. Tinubu. Look at it. Who is Buhari? A man without any basic foundational formal education. I understand that he went to military schools, and we understand that the ND and several other military schools have tight military curriculum and enough learning and all that. But no formal school, right? I think his SSC stopped. So we could respect the NDA result as anything, even if there are discrepancies everywhere. But it's fine. Which business has he run? In declaring his asset, becoming president in 2015, Muhammadu Buhari declared cows as his assets. So he has asked, which business has Bola Ahmed Tinubu successfully run to becoming president? Where did he make this money? Where did he make his money? They say he has helped people, he has built boys, he has raised boys. So you're asking yourself, who are the boys? Politicians? Fashola, for example, is a boy that Tinubu raised. He's bragging, he's one of the mentees. Fashola is the Minister of Power and Works. And no achievement. Fashola boasted that there will be power in 6 months. He's been there now for several years. Oh. And the national grid has continued to collapse every other time. We should forgive Buhari, because the person coming will be worse. God forbid Tinubu, I'm still saying it here. I respect the constitution of this country, and I believe so much in the rule of law, principles of democracy, due process. I believe so much. Let it go on. Swearing should go on, the court should go on. But I'm telling you, Tinubu is not my president. Forgive me. Why? Because these guys do not plan to get to power to do nothing. Their desire is to grab power. Tinubu has been putting mathematics in place since 1993. As he came back from exile, he has been putting every pen and paper, making arrangements, entering relationships, building bridges, just to become president. To do what exactly? To do what exactly? That's how Buhari fought, went on the street to protest, created a political party. Do we think that the man has got an ideology? What? Even if you were in APC, but you created a political party, CPC. So I'm asking, what was the ideology of that party? The same way Tinubu has also created political parties in 1999. From AD to AC to ACN to APC. Of course, there's not PDAPC. To do what exactly? Why did I forgive you? A people will deserve the kind of leaders that they get. A people will deserve the leadership that they get. Because if we don't raise the bar, we'll keep having people like this, with all due respect to them. Element like this parade themselves as president and president-elect in a country of one of the most intelligent race in the world, sound minds, educated. Even people that did not go to formal schools are bright and sound. Look at Nigerians doing excellently well abroad. They will have the least of us. The least of us, like Edmond Bon put it. Leaving politics to politicians will allow your inferiors to lead you. We have our inferiors. How can a country where we have young people developing, innovating, a man who only asset is cows is president? And now they said they have elected somebody. I don't know the asset. I don't know how he made his money. There are related stories of criminal tendencies everywhere. They say we should shut up our mouth and we should go to court. And you think in future, MC Oluomo will not become president of this country. We will forgive Buhari. Yes. If we are really ready to make, we will forgive Buhari and forgive ourselves. We will not allow elements like MC Oluomo, the few idiots who are roaming the streets, using social media as campaign tools and threatening and coming to my DM to tell me that I should be careful. Let DSS come and arrest me. And they fear DSS. What I've said that is wrong, they should say it to the world. The same thing that happened in 1983. Buhari's speech that you watched just now, you saw how he spoke as though he came to change the course of this country. The nonsense, nuisance, wrong thing. They will fight to get power, to get the power to do nothing absolutely. You're in a complete mess. If you decide to forgive Buhari and not forgive him, is your luck. But go and mark it, I've said it. Buhari, for Buhari and Tinubu, we will apologize to Buhari when Tinubu is done with 4 years.
Thank you so much indeed for coming on the program on the day as this. I know you're gaily dressed, perhaps you visited a few friends for the celebration. But I mean, when you hear the president ask for forgiveness or saying, please pardon me, what comes to your mind?
I think it's expressing his humanity. He's a human being, like he said. He's a human being like you and I. And in the course of his action or inaction, he definitely will have stepped on toes. And he has chosen 38 days to the exit of his administration to plead for forgiveness. But he's not the only one. A few days ago, Governor Umar Ganduje of Kano State was the first to come out to say people of Kano should forgive him. He possibly has stepped on some toes. And it's normal and natural for politicians to do that. Even PDP, after 16 years of misgovernance, came out after the Ekweremadu report. I think it was Prince Uche Secondus down in Abuja. God bless you. So you can see that's the whole political party to say, look, Nigerians, forgive us. We have heard. We committed a lot of atrocities. We did things the way it should not be done. So it's in the way of politicians to seek forgiveness. And it is also in the ways of every human being who believes in a supreme God to seek forgiveness. After all, the Lord's Prayer, our Father who art in heaven. So it's not out of place, but my own point of departure is, yes, there are actions and inactions. There are those actions that are force majeure. You know, you cannot help. So things just have to happen the way they are. And there are those, you know, somebody will say error of the mind, error of the heart. Let me put this in context. Mr. President, in putting Nigeria through the excruciating pains of Naira redesign, and people were complaining.
Is that forgivable?
It's not for Nigerians.
Because there are businesses that are no more.
God bless you.
Because of that, because of that policy.
And people were
warning.
People warned. People begged. People said, look, Mr. President, this isn't working. This is the eve of election. There are those who lost election in APC because of the president action. I said there on this platform, part of the reason Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu lost the election in Lagos was because of this excruciating pain. Recall that he himself came out, that the deliberate, of course, he may say he was quoted out of context, but he said they hoarded money, they hoarded fuel, but he will contest and win. I mean, paraphrasing.
Mr. Ojo, there were people who stripped themselves naked out of frustration
in the banking hall.
People had money, but they couldn't get access to it. Understandable reasons that the CBN gave, that to curb this, to do this and do that. But the question is that how would you make policies that will make life more miserable for the populace, for the larger population?
And on top of it, February 8th, the Supreme Court, the highest court of the land, said, look, I'm giving this order pending the determination of the merit of the case. Let status quo ante be maintained. The president, after that Supreme Court decision, addressed the nation and did a selective, application. Said, okay, 200 naira will be circulated, the whole 200 naira will be recirculated for another 60 days, but for 500 naira, 1,000 naira. So I think the president at that point should have observed the rule of law, observed agree with the Supreme Court justices, and allow and you could see that even when the final determination came, I think was it March 25 or thereabout, the CBN governor was still waiting on the president. I think it's my elder brother, Garba Shehu, that threw Emefiele under the bus by saying he shouldn't be waiting on the president to implement the Supreme Court decision. But that is the story. People lost business.
That is one policy.
What about oil theft? What do you have to say about oil theft? A military general, a major general retired in this country, under him, Nigeria lost almost half of his daily oil production to crude oil theft.
Can that be is that pardonable?
I'm not judging.
No, you are the political analyst.
I'm not judging the president. I'm only throwing the issue out there.
No, but the question is that, and the reason why I'm asking you, if someone slaps you and is asking for forgiveness, it's up to you to know whether or not you are forgiven.
But in this respect, I can say, well, whatever it is, I forgive you, Mr. President. But those who are impacted most negatively, those who lost their means of livelihood, who lost their lives, who lost their businesses because of certain action and decision of the president, something that falls within his purview, would they want to easily forgive? The point is whether they even forgive or they don't forgive. There's little or nothing they can do about it. To err is human. You remember that when Bishop Kuka came out with that homily early in the year, the presidency disagreed vehemently with it, but the public, what he said resonated more with the public. Because, yes, one thing I must say is that Mr. President is not a sole administrator. Governance is of 3 arms and 3 tiers. We have the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, and we have the federal, state, and local government. But like Manangaba Shehu said in his earlier comment, that the president is asking for forgiveness even on behalf of some of his appointees who has ministries, departments, and agencies.
There are those who will blame the president that he gives people responsibility without
proper oversight.
Is that pardonable?
Without what?
I'm asking rhetorical questions because we are dropping issues and policy decisions and style of leadership of the president that, look, it is a precedent. Anybody could come into office and say, after 8 years, I will ask for forgiveness and I will move on. It's not that easy because policy and decision of leaders have consequences on their lives. Look at how many Nigerians that have left this country because of hardship that they experience, because of the threats to their business, because of insecurity. So, are those pardonable?
For me, no action is not pardonable. Everything is pardonable. And even if he didn't ask for forgiveness, many Nigerians are saying, we can't wait to let this man go. He said he's tired. He said he wants to go and rest. Let him go and rest. I read this, the published speech. Mr. President has been one of the luckiest, and he admitted earlier today that he's been one of the luckiest Nigeria. He has been everything anybody could aspire to be in life.
Minister, governor?
Minister, no,
President
military
twice.
Administrator.
Yeah.
Way back in 1976, military administrator, Minister of Petroleum Resources, and he's under the same minister with all the experiences that we have, the highest level of oil theft
and the president who is also
the
minister
substantive